I'm not role-playing sex with my friends as a wizard. Welcome to Wow True, the podcast of your wildest memes.
We're your one-stop internet culture shop here to dissect what's going viral, why we care, and how this might affect our real human lives. I'm so tired. Just, oh my god, you don't even get it. Isabel.
And I'm Amanda, and I'm not looking at the script, but I know the line. It's, anyone could be famous on the internet, so why not us?
We are 2 episodes away from episode 69. And my god, it's getting close. We might want to do some research.
Oh yeah, no, I was telling someone about this on my birthday, which happened this week. I was telling friend of the pod, Andrea, about our plans to do intensive research on the history of the 69 meme. And she was like, you haven't started yet? It's a month away. Go. And I was like, no, it's my birthday. We're eating ice cream. Stop. But yeah, she's right. I did go on JSTOR.
Wait, how much? How many months does Andrea think we need to research 69?
Well, because I told Andrea I want to do, like, a Michael Hobbs level deep dive. Like, I want to, like, go to a library and be like, I need this primary source. Like, I'm gonna go ham. Like, this is gonna be my project for the month. Like, last month I was taking a weaving class and got way too deep into weaving. This month I'm gonna get way too deep into the academic history of the number 69. Also, it's really funny when, like, do your parents know 69 jokes?
No. Or, I don't know if they do or don't. It's never come up in conversation with them.
Well, I don't know what this says about my relationship with my parents, but my parents definitely know 69, 420, whatever. And then, so this weekend...
Oh, I did explain 420 to my parents when I was a teenager.
Nice.
I was like, it's the weed number. And they were like, well, how much do you know about weed? And I was like, nothing. I go to a prep school in New Jersey and I hang out with nerds.
See, what's true is that you probably genuinely did know nothing about weed.
Yeah, because I was like 14.
I also didn't know anything about weed at 14, just putting that out there. But so this weekend, I was at other friend of the pod, Zoe's Master's in Social Work graduation. Congratulations to Zoe. And in their class, there were, I think, 72 people graduating, but 3 people couldn't make it. And then in front of Zoe's parents, they were like, oh, you know what's really funny? The total number of people of graduating, it was 72 minus 3, which is 69. And I was like, hey. And then her dad was like, I don't get it. And then Zoe's sister, who's like 18, was like, oh, it's like high school humor. It's not like Masters in Social Work humor. And he was like, okay. But then I think I've explained 420 to Zoe's dad, who's like a lawyer, because we talk about tech news at times, and I was explaining why it's stupid that Elon Musk bought Twitter at $54.20 a share.
He's a lawyer, as if this means anything in this context. I cannot tell you the amount of bullshit that law firm partners talk about. It's like, it's 24/7 Clowntown bullshit all the time.
I just think it's funny in the context of like very knowledgeable professional man, and then you're like, so let me explain to you why Elon Musk specifically purchased Twitter for $54.20.
Related to that, the big topic...
And that's what our podcast is, honestly.
It is. No. It kind of is. Wait, no, at work, one of the big things a couple weeks ago was explaining Gen Z slang.
Oh, no.
Like, that was the big topic of conversation among all the associates, because, like, you know, the further up you get into hierarchy, usually the older you are. And so, obviously, there is nobody here who is Gen Z, because the youngest you are at a law firm usually is about, like, 25 if you're a lawyer. But then one of the paralegals is, like, pretty fresh out of college. So she was like, hello, I can explain things to you. And then I had to kind of just like, I had to kind of pretend just not to know as many things as I did, because I know too many words because I'm too online. Because I had to explain Riz to 2 of my coworkers. And then I accidentally no filter and was like, yeah, so basically the best way to explain this is just to be like, you know, if you fuck, you have Riz. And I was like, I should not have said that at work. But I did.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, like Riz is like, you know, it's charisma, but it's like, you know, do you fuck or not?
Oh. Oh, okay. See, my first thought was like, Wolf Kaminsky, my D&D character, has a pretty good charisma score.
Does he fuck?
No, not canonically, at least. Like,
you have to think about these questions with your D&D characters. Do they fuck? Do they have Riz?
One of my characters in a one-shot did fuck. And it's really weird when you're like, oh no, my character is having sex in D&D. I have, violated, yeah, it was like, I don't know, it was one of those one-shots where you have, like, different archetypes where it's like, the alchemist, the thief, and then the one that I chose was like the seductress or whatever.
Yeah, so of course you're fucking.
Really funny. Yeah, I thought it'd be funny to play, and then there was this like himbo guy that had a key that I needed. So then in D&D I was like trying to like flirt with this fictional character who was actually my friend Dan.
Yeah, that's what D&D is like. I think I've
yeah, although I think it's okay if sex happens in D&D, but you have to be like, and then we fade to black.
Yeah, no, it's you have to do the fade to black thing, or else shit does get weird.
I'm not role-playing sex with my friends as a wizard.
That's some people's...
That's gonna be the poll quote.
Did you mean any Ren Fair after dark?
Oh no.
God.
See, that's... Okay, also, so I saw a TikTok of like a D&D cruise, and I was like, there's either an insane amount of sex happening on this cruise or literally none at all.
I want to believe that they're fucking. I do think D&D nerds should get to fuck. It's what they deserve for role-playing a wizard. I could make a list right now of all of my D&D characters who do fuck and which of them don't fuck, which is not content that anybody's asked for or wants.
Well, right now, my D&D characters, one of them is like 18-ish, which I feel like is still like she's a youngster. She could fuck. I mean, she probably
shouldn't fuck.
Yeah, she is an adult in our society. However, she doesn't need to fuck. It's fine. Like this is not part of the story.
Making her fuck.
Yeah. Also, when your DM is asexual, and it's like, I am not making this character fuck.
You can still make them fuck. Like, I feel like that's fine. Unless he was like, don't do that.
Well, no, I mean, we do have like a table rule of like no explicit sex stuff, which I think is a generally good rule. Yeah,
that's a regular rule. That's a normal rule for a group to have. If you don't have that, I don't know, like, I
feel like there's definitely D&D groups where they like get into some shit. I don't know.
No, I feel like I feel like that's a weird thing to do though, because you're just making everyone like watch you roleplay fucking, and it's like
exactly. It's weird.
Like nobody needed to hear this.
I mean, I guess it's not unless you wanted if your group is like explicitly trying to do that, but that's not what's happening with like me and my friends. Like half of the table who's asexual, and like the other half who's just like, hey, what if we didn't roleplay having sex as wizards? Maybe that's, like, not a thing that we're doing with our friends today.
Hey, that's the full quote. Hey, what if we don't roleplay having sex as wizards?
So, also, to pull back the curtain a bit, Isabel and I have both been very busy the last few episodes, and I feel like when we don't have a very solid script, we just talk about fucking. Because last episode we talked so much about cum, and then Allison's dad listens to the podcast.
That was relevant though, because I didn't because I didn't know what skeet meant, and then it's about it's fucking blue sky. That was actually relevant. This is not relevant. I'm gonna list all of my D&D characters who fucking don't now. Fuck it, we ball. I had 2 closings this week. Work had layoffs. There was just the whole situation in my life. I was this close to losing my entire shit at everybody. Anyway, Van does fuck, does not have Riz. V fucks, has Riz. Trev Starfucker original flavor does fuck, does have Riz. The new clone boy does fuck, does not have Riz. Jerry has never had Riz, has fucked, but only but not in a way where it's like sexy. Nikita does not fuck. He is too busy doing crime. However, if given the opportunity, he would fuck. Okay. I'm done.
Okay, so it's tricky with mine because Wolf Kaminsky canonically has a child. So he does fuck. However, he went through a portal and now he's 11, so I'm going to definitively say he does not fuck.
But like he had fucked in the past.
Yeah, but now he's 11.
But now he doesn't fuck. Yes. Of course.
Yes. Now he is a literal child and he does not fuck. Thank God. And then I guess my new character, Maddie Van Horn.
Is she the seductress?
No, that was like Anna or something. I'm also doing a thing where I'm naming all of my D&D characters after my doctors. Because Wolf Kaminsky is after my dentist, and then I have another doctor whose first name is Maddie, and then she's a tiefling, so Van Horn, and she wants to be a politician, and her campaign slogan is horny for justice, but the joke is that she doesn't know what that means. She's just like, oh yeah, that's my campaign slogan.
I feel like that means that she doesn't fuck.
No, yeah, I mean, also, she's also, like, a teenager.
Yeah,
And
okay.
I feel like I think she's just a bit young.
But
maybe.
does she have Riz?
I don't think her charisma, I think because her spellcasting modifier is wisdom, so I think she has
listen.
whiz, but not Riz.
It does not matter what your charisma score is, whether you have Riz or not. Just, you need to feel it from the vibe. This is no mechanical impact.
I don't know, we've only done 2 sessions so far in this campaign, and I'm still feeling the character out. I don't know. I feel like she did have a crush on a witch.
Okay, see, that means no. If you don't know definitively yes, that means they don't have Riz.
Yeah, I have determined at least that, because right now we're trying to, like, defeat this really evil witch, but then Andrea showed us a picture of the witch, and we're all like, oh no, the witch is hot. So now my character is, like, intimidated because she thinks the witch is hot. Anyway,
someone should roll to seduce. I feel like that's the classic thing to do in a D&D game where it's like everybody, once you know that people are hot, it immediately becomes a roll to seduce situation. Like, see, Allison, hi Allison if you're listening, Allison fucked up and made all the demons in our game extremely hot, and then we made her do like demon hotness rankings and stuff, and now we're all trying to fuck the demons for reasons. Anyway.
Well, okay, before we move on from the unhinged news, we have 3 things I want to talk about today, and I ordered them. The most unhinged one is first.
Yeah, okay, so wait, can I give the context of, you sent me a message last night at 9:20 in the morning that just said James Holzhauer showed feet on Jeopardy Masters, and I was like, I don't know what this means. None of these words are in the Bible. And then you sent me a voice memo, and I didn't listen to the voice memo because I was doing stuff.
Yeah, I love how
it
was complicated enough that I needed to send a voice memo. Okay, so, as we know, I'm a big Jeopardy fan, and they're doing a tournament called Jeopardy Masters, which is 6 of the Jeopardy greats just, like, competing in this elaborate tournament. My girl Amy Schneider's there. Bless Amy Schneider. One of the big Jeopardy champions is James Holzhauer, who is, like, I think he has, like, 10 of the top 10 most earnings in a game of Jeopardy records. Like, he's fucking insane. His run was, like, 2019, I think, but he's, like, now one of those guys who is famous for being, like, a game show guy. When they do the little banter, which Ken Jennings, who allegedly is a scab, apparently he crossed the picket line, but Mayim Bialik didn't. And now I'm like, God damn it, I like Ken better than Mayim Bialik, but now I like Mayim Bialik better because Ken crossed the picket line. Anyway, this was recorded before that, but so when Ken's doing the little banter introductions or whatever, so there's this guy, Andrew He, and Andrew had never played against James before. And then the banter was Andrew being like, oh, you know, like, I wanted to play against James because, like, I think he's, like, a great player, and I think it's fun to have that experience. But also, I really wanted to know if the rumor was true that between games in the green room, he takes off his shoes and his socks to intimidate the opponents.
Oh, I mean, that's deranged. That would work.
Yeah, and then while they're bantering about this, James Holzhauer takes off his shoes and socks, and then he, like, walks between the podiums so the audience can see his feet. And then he's just standing there like, are you intimidated? But then the camera zooms in on James Holzhauer's feet. Whoever does the camera work and edits Jeopardy has not been in some dark corners of the internet where you never show feet.
You never show feet for free.
Mm-hmm. So that's my James Holzhauer feet explanation. Did that live up?
That has explained a lot. Thank you.
Okay, great. The next thing on the list, I think it's really obvious what we're going to talk about this week, but we're going to save it for the end. However...
Was it obvious? We did spend like 10 minutes talking about fucking...
Well, yeah, but then now we're going to talk about Bigolas Dickolas, but first. So I did have a viral tweet this week And it was because I did the most low-hanging fruit investigative journalism of all time. Because on Thursday, Elon Musk tweeted, "We have found a new CEO for Twitter. She will start in 6 weeks." So then everyone was like, oh shit, she. That narrows the playing field a lot to figure out who this is going to be. And then I went on his Twitter where he follows like 270 people and made a list of all the women he follows. And he follows 29 women.
Oh shit, it's gone down?
Well, no, okay. So I tweeted that he follows 30 women, but that's because I thought that Ashley Vance was a woman, but it's a guy named Ashley.
Good for him.
Yeah. He's some like Bloomberg guy or something that I just like did not know who he is, but from the list of 29 people, some of them are like Grimes or like his mom or his ex-wife and stuff like that.
Yo, I feel like if he didn't follow his mom on Twitter, that would be extremely funny.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't follow my mom on Twitter.
Yeah, but like you're not the CEO of Twitter.
Yeah, also my mom doesn't tweet. She just likes my posts.
I don't think my mom knows how Twitter works. Hey, okay, can I do an aside about Twitter as a concept from when I was talking with people at work about Twitter? Yeah. Well, because I was talking with one of my friends about like social media the other day, and he was like, "Are you on Twitter? I don't know anyone on Twitter. Nobody I know uses Twitter." And I was like, there really are some atomized social circles in the world, because it's not like he was old or anything. It's a guy my age. And the way he completely dismissed Twitter and anything that was happening on Twitter as irrelevant to his life, like it just having no bearing on his life, society, that it was already over for years, was very interesting.
God, I wish that were me.
Yeah, I was like, you're living a life that I could never live. The thing is, he's also on other social media. Like, he's on Instagram and stuff. But he's just like, yeah, Twitter has never existed, or Twitter has stopped existing. And I was like, is Twitter becoming the new Tumblr in terms of relevance anyway?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's like the funny thing about Twitter is that, like, honestly, not that many people use it. Like, it's not a very popular app. It just feels like its popularity and relevance is outsized because historically this has been a place where, like, politicians and governments and celebrities are talking about stuff. Mm-hmm. But, like, I think they had maybe, like, 200 million daily active users, but also I that could be wrong, but compared to like Facebook has over 1 billion for context.
Right.
Also, what's funny about Twitter is that TBT, when Twitter was a publicly traded company that had earnings reports and Elon Musk wasn't the CEO, remember those good days? But Twitter's metric for daily active users is MDAU, monetizable daily active users. And it's so fucking stupid. Like, it's just, what does that mean? It's just like users that you can put an ad next to, I guess, or like, I don't know, but like users that are contributing to the ad revenue, which is like the only way that Twitter makes money, which is relevant to the new CEO search. Yeah, so I have a shirt that says MDAU from the Chancery Daily, which is a blog about the Delaware Court of Chancery.
There are some really specific-ass blogs in the world, huh?
They're so good. I've been wanting to get the Chancery Daily person on. Wow, true.
Listen, I fully support it. I think that'd be fun as hell.
Yeah, anyway, Twitter is very small, and it's absurd the influence it has. And I think it has an even more outsized influence because I'm a journalist and you're a writer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only on... I'd say... I feel like worlds collided this... Oh, man. Should we talk about Bigolas Dickolas?
Oh, well, I guess to close the loop. So, Elon Musk follows 29 women on Twitter. I narrowed it down to a list of 5 potential candidates for new CEO of Twitter, and I just want to say I was right! It is Linda Yaccarino, who was the chair of the, like, advertising part of NBC Universal, and she also was a former Trump appointee to one of his presidential committees that involves entertainment or whatever. Yeah, we'll see how that goes, but yeah, it was not hard to figure out who it was because Elon Musk follows 29 women, 5 of whom would be qualified to be a CEO.
I feel like they're doing the same thing that I feel like there's been a pattern that happens with, I mean, I'm not the first person to talk about this, but I feel like there's been a pattern with a lot of like tech companies where a man will fuck up and then they bring in a woman to fix things.
Oh, yeah.
And then she can't fix them. And then she gets, like, blasted on main for it. And, like, on one hand, I feel bad for them because, like, it's shit and it's sexism and the internet is actually super horrible to women a lot of the time. On the other hand, they are making CEO money.
Yeah, also you're making the decision to be the CEO of Twitter. Like, you're going from being, like, a respected, mostly anonymous in the public eye, like, ad executive to being the CEO of Twitter.
The decision-making process that must go into that must be very interesting because I feel like you don't get to that point without at least, like, thinking about what are the potential ramifications of this. And there's been enough precedent at this point of, like, here's what happens when you become CEO of a big internet company and become very public. Obviously, the internet eats you alive because you are now the authority figure. So, like, she has to know what she's getting into here. So I don't really feel bad for her and what's going to happen, but it's also kind of like, patterns.
Yeah, it definitely has the stench of let's appoint a woman because then we are seen as, like, not horrible. I'm also like, how many women even work at Twitter anymore?
God, anyone who needs that H-1B visa.
Oh god, no, yeah, literally, like, I wonder how much of Twitter needs an H-1B visa.
Probably
Because I feel
a
like
lot.
everyone else left.
Yep.
But yeah, so I had this tweet go viral for being like, Elon Musk follows 30 women, and it's just very funny because I keep getting Google alerts that are like, senior culture reporter at TechCrunch Amanda Silberling pointed out that Elon Musk follows 30 women. And it's just like, damn, my biggest contribution to journalism, like, this month has been, did you know Elon Musk follows 30 women on Twitter?
You're doing great, sweetie.
Speaking of big contributions to journalism, Bigolas Dickolas.
Bigolas Dickolas. As an aside, I really enjoy saying Bigolas Dickolas. It really rolls off the tongue really well.
Oh yeah, I talked about this in therapy. Like, my therapist knows who Bigolas Dickolas is.
Yeah, okay, so Bigolas Dickolas Wolfwood. We're talking about the outsized influence that Twitter has in the real world, despite not a lot of people using it. Bigolas Dickolas Wolfwood brought a book that is, like, the interesting thing about This Is How You Lose a Time War is that, like, it was very highly regarded when it came out, but it just got a resurgence, like an aggressive resurgence, because Bigolas Dickolas Wolfwood was like, yo, this slaps. I mean, he didn't say that. He had a really good tweet.
I believe this was posted on, like, May 7th or something. I don't have the exact date in front of me because I have the quote tweet in front of me, but so Bigolas Dickolas Wolfwood at Mask of Bun on Twitter, a Trigun fan account, says, read this. Do not look up anything about it. Just read it. It's only like 200 pages. You can download it on Audible. It's only like 4 hours. Do it right now. I'm very extremely serious. And then there's no link to the book. It's just a picture of the book cover of This Is How You Lose the Time War. And then the follow-up tweet is, like, asterisks, grabs you personally by the throat. You will do this for me. You will go to the counter at Barnes & Noble. You will buy this. I will be greatly rewarded.
And then this went viral, and people brought This Is How You Lose a Time War to, I think, number 3 on Amazon?
Yes. Yeah, it was number 3. The only books that were higher than it was, like, The Legend of Zelda, like, Tears of the Kingdom guidebook. And then, like, some kind of, like, Mother's Day book that probably a bunch of people are buying for mothers. Yeah, also, the Amazon bestseller list is a black box. Like, I asked some friends in publishing how it works, and they're like, yeah, you can kind of, like, game it. It's mostly about, like, the velocity at which something is selling. But I also think even then, it's still impressive as hell that this book got to number 3. And also this week, the Pulitzer Prizes were announced, and one of the winners for fiction was Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. And this book climbed the charts more efficiently than Barbara Kingsolver's book that just won a Pulitzer.
Bigolas Dickolas Wolfwood is simply the most powerful person in publishing now.
Yeah, I mean, as my headline was, Bigolas Dickolas is more powerful than the Pulitzer Prize, which is a true statement.
The interesting thing to me is that a lot of people are going to be trying to create, as you write in your article, their own Bigolas Dickolas moment.
This article opens with a video game consultant having a meeting with a client, and the client is, like, upset about their game not selling enough, and then they say, I just really need my own Bigolas Dickolas moment.
But I feel like, so the thing about that, and I feel like the thing that everyone who is trying to capitalize on Bigolas Dickolas doesn't get is that you can't engineer this. Or, like,
Yeah.
you can't engineer this specific moment again, because I think this is, like, the thing that people have been talking about in the publishing sphere that I've been, like, in, because obviously this has been, like, a big topic of conversation between a lot of the sci-fi people, because This Is How You Lose the Time War is a sci-fi novel that got a lot of awards when it came out, and people were, like, mad into it. People fucking loved this book. I read it way later than I should have, and
Me too.
Amanda was actually reading this for her fucking book club, like, last week, which is very funny. Great timing. But what people were talking about is, like, the fact that This Is How You Lose the Time War already had, like, an existing fan base, like a small existing fan base, but a fan base that would spread Bigolas Dickolas Wolfwood's message further. And also that, like, what you needed is, like, a good product to begin with, if that makes sense.
No, for
Also,
sure.
the agent who represents, I think it's both of them, but I think it's definitely Max Gladstone. Don't quote me on this, I don't remember. Was like, I guess now I have to watch Trigun. He was like,
No,
yeah,
that's, like,
okay, I'm watching Trigun.
That's one of the biggest takeaways, is that the Bigolas Dickolas Wolfwood isn't trying to, like, be famous. They're just trying to get the Trigun manga reprinted. They've been tweeting, like, at Dark Horse Comics, like, please reprint the Trigun manga. And then, like, that's, like, them shooting their shot. They're not, like, dropped by SoundCloud. They're like, please reprint the manga. But
yeah, because they're a Trigun account, and Trigun is a manga from, like, 1998. The reason that there's a lot of Trigun stands right now is because the Trigun anime dropped in 2023. I don't know why there was a 25-year gap between the manga coming out and an anime coming out, but people are horny on me for Trigun. So that's context.
Yeah, this account also posts some yaoi, so
we stan.
Trigun yaoi account makes book go to number 3 on Amazon is basically the joke of the week.
When I saw this tweet come out for the first time, I was like, this is actually a totally normal tweet for fandom Twitter and for fandom Tumblr. Like, I read it and I was like, this is actually mad regular, and I don't know why this went specifically viral, because I post about media fucking constantly on my Tumblr account because I'm trying to get 10 to 15 people to consume a piece of media that I'm into, and I was a big name fan in one fandom. So it's
your post
like,
that just went super viral.
Yeah, now I have 23k notes on Tumblr, but it doesn't really matter. Although Maya Arson Krimiu, from Crimes, from being transgender in Crimes, did reblog me on Tumblr about that post, and I was just kind of like, Maya from Crimes? I almost said Crimes.
Can't believe that on Tumblr you're getting retweeted or reblogged. You're getting reblogged on Tumblr by Maya from Crimes, and then over on Blue Sky, I'm just like, damn, AOC follows me, but she hasn't liked any of my posts.
And which one of these people has more influence in the real world?
Honestly, I mean,
it's
Bigolas Dickolas.
It's Bigolas Dickolas, who neither of us know.
I also think what we really need to address with this is that, like, yes, like, This Is How You Lose the Time War, like, it won the Hugo, it won the Nebula, it's really big in sci-fi circles, but it's not big in, like, normal people fiction circles. Like, this book is weird as fuck. Like, I literally did not know what the hell was going on for the majority of the book, which I later found out is a very normal reading experience, but I was like,
you also, like, audiobooked it, and I was you shouldn't audiobook that. That's a weird book to audiobook.
I audiobooked it on a 5-hour flight from LA, and then I interviewed the authors when I wrote about this, and I was telling them, like, yeah, I had the weirdest reading experience, because I was, like, half asleep listening to the audiobook, and I was just in, like, a very weird time, I don't know. And then they were like, yeah, that is, that sounds like a weird choices. Time.
I would have been slightly offended if you had told me that, not gonna lie.
Well, I mean, I told them I liked it, but I was just like, yeah, I was listening to the audiobook and I was on a plane, and, like I wasn't half asleep because of the book. I was half asleep because I hadn't been sleeping and I was on a plane.
Yeah, but I would have been like, damn, I'm a plane book now.
Well, but it was like, I told them that I was reading it for my book club, and that my book club was reading their book that came out in 2019 in 2023, because...
Yeah, that makes it better.
Yeah, no, I think, honestly, they can deal with it. They're selling a fuck ton of books. It's fine. I told them I liked it.
They're both,
Yeah.
like, well-regarded authors. The other thing here is that, like, well-regarded in science fiction circles doesn't necessarily mean mainstream circles. And, like,
Yeah.
stuff does cross over, but this is really not one of the books that crossed over because it's so fucking weird. It's really weird. It's actually very literary, I think, in a way that I'm a little surprised that they didn't try to make a crossover happen. But it's also one of those things where both of the authors are, like, well-regarded people in the industry. Like, they are known in the industry, but not super outside of the genre space. So I think that didn't help. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, what wins awards a lot of the times is either stuff that A, gets hype, or B, is weird enough that, like, do you know what I mean? Like, stuff that is outside the box that is doing something different. And this was definitely the latter. Like, I don't know how I feel about it. The other thing is that it's a novella and not a novel, if I remember correctly. And just, at the time, 4 years ago, novellas were not as pushed. The other thing is that it's actually really not that hard. Like, publishing is an interesting industry because the amount of books that you need to sell to make anything happen in your life, what's considered, like, doing well or doing mid-list or, like, a lead title and that shit, you're not really selling actually that many copies.
Yeah, I feel like there's some crazy statistic, like, the majority of books sell fewer than, like, a couple hundred copies.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, so it's like, I mean, honestly, like, hot take books is a dying industry. Conceptually, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of factors that go into this because, like, I think everyone wants media for free, and we've been conditioned to, like, get media for free, and nobody really wants to pay people who are making media something AI something writer's strike, etc., etc. Like, I don't want to get into it now, but, like, yeah.
But TikTok really has had a significant impact on the publishing industry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I have a friend. Oh, actually, she was on the podcast, Hannah Frank, of the crocheting chicken nuggets before her wedding and going viral for crocheting chicken nuggets. Yeah, she works in publishing, and I was like, is book talk as big a deal as people make it out to be? And she's like, oh yeah, like The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid has been, like, carrying publishing, like, and that's, like, a big book talk book. And then even on this bestsellers list on Amazon, which I regret to inform everyone that This Is How You Lose the Time War is now number 7. Sad, but it's fine. The books ahead of it are, like, The Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Guide, There Are Moms Way Worse Than You, Irrefutable Proof That You Are Indeed a Fantastic Parent.
Damn, it's hard out there. I guess it's fucking hard out there.
Oh, the Places You'll Go.
Mm-hmm.
And then Happy Place by Emily Henry. Emily Henry is, like, a massively popular author on TikTok because she writes these romance novels that are very, like, cute, I guess. Like, they're... I feel like they're slightly sophisticated enough that they're interesting, but they also are still extremely, extremely formulaic.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like people want formulaic. I don't know. We could.
Oh yeah, I mean that's just that's romance as a genre. Is that it's like, you know, there's gonna be it's like enemies to lovers or fake dating or like.
I think romance is really the fan fiction of the real world.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know what else is the fan fiction of the real world? Side note, The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers.
Yeah, okay. I feel like this is just our, like, book... Like, let's just have book club. Why not? Like, I don't know, life is short. Yeah, I told you. Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. It's fanfic. You want... It's not bad. I thought it needed more plot, or Blorbo from my shows needed to be there. One of the two.
It feels like this would be a great fanfic of, like, all of your favorite characters from your favorite show are in space and they're just hanging out.
Right? Like, it would have been so fun as fanfic.
I do think it's, like, funny as hell that Becky Chambers' whole thing is just, like, generally genre fiction and sci-fi is very plot-driven, and then this is just no plot, only vibes.
No, but okay, so it's interesting because there's actually been a shift in the industry. Not in the industry, but there has been, like, a market shift toward people wanting quote-unquote cozy fantasy. And I think Becky Chambers is quote-unquote cozy sci-fi because I think that the real world has been so goddamn stressful over the last 5 years that what a lot of people are looking for is basically fanfic without labeling it fanfic. Like, for example, Legends and Lattes, I think falls into that genre. And that's on the Nebula ballot and stuff. Yeah, it's a book. It's basically somebody's like D&D fan fiction for their campaign. No, it's literally about an orc woman who's like, fuck this shit, I'm opening a coffee shop. It's fanfic.
That's really cute.
It's cute as hell. I actually started it and I have not finished it. But the concept is cute. But like, so what I'm saying here is that there is
Coffee shop AU. It's a fanfic trope.
It's literally, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've been saying this. Many have been saying this. No, so that was just a long way to say that, like, yeah, there is actually now somehow an established genre of, or an establishing itself genre of people chilling in the wizard world, people chilling in the space world. I do think the sequels to Becky Chambers' first book are a lot better, and you should read them though, because I think the first book sets up the world. The other books have more plot.
Yeah, that's what another friend who's been on the podcast, Emmy Rose Templewood, she told me to read the third book in the series because she thinks it explains grief in a good way.
No, yeah, you should, because it does explain grief in a good way. Do you want another grief book recommendation?
Oh, I want all the grief book recommendations.
Okay.
I don't know why I have not read Joan Didion, and I'm like, I need to be reading Joan Didion. I'm doing the grief right now. This is Amanda's grief zone. This is the part of the podcast where Amanda talks about grieving.
I don't even know what to say to that. What a specific ass thing to have on a podcast. Okay, so the books that I'm going to recommend here. Have you read The Goblin Emperor?
No, but but because we share a library card, so I've seen that you're reading it.
Yeah, well, I read it a few years ago, and I read it again because I wanted to read the sequels, which are basically a murder mystery. Like, the sequels are interesting because they're not sequels, they're just set in the shared world. And it's this dude who's like, basically, he is the saddest, wettest cat, but he's very like determinator about it, and he is really just going through the undercurrents of the book. The sequels to The Goblin Emperor, which you should read first because it'll explain the world, and it's a really good book, I promise. And the main character in the two sequels, or like shared world books, is like, he's going through it, he's solving crimes, he is the saddest, wettest cat. He's dealing with like a horrible death that happened like 2 or 3 years ago that he is just now processing. So, you know, grief.
Damn, me in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, so that's why I was kind of like, yeah.
I will say, my book recommendation that I'm just throwing out because I want to talk to people about it is New Waves by Kevin Wen. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when you're angry a book exists because it is so close to the book that you want to write, like...
Oh, me every day.
There is no book in existence closer to the book I want to write than New Waves by Kevin Wen. Because it's literally about, like, a guy who's working at, like, a weird tech startup, and then his best friend, who also works at the weird tech startup, just, like, randomly dies. And then he's reckoning with, like, how well did he really know her? And she had this whole other life, or she had this whole other manuscript. And then her internet friend has the manuscript and, like, gives it to her, which, I don't know. I'm in a situation where I'm like, damn, my friend died and I just have his manuscript. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? Whose is this to do anything with? It's not mine to do anything with, because why me? But it's a really good book, though. Like, I think it's interesting when books interface with grief, but in a way that's not like, this is making me so sad. Because I think in these books, when a character dies, like, 20 pages in, mm-hmm. you're not really emotionally connected to the character. So then it's really just, like, how is the other character dealing with the grief? Because no one wants to read a book where, like, your favorite character dies at the end, and then it's like, if the favorite character dies at the end, then there isn't any room in the book to think about grief and how people process it.
Right, because a book about grief isn't a book about, like, the character who died. It's about everyone dealing with the fact of the situation rather than the actual character. Everyone should read my story that comes out in, like, 2.5 weeks, which is about the Penn suicide bubble. In like 2016.
Speaking of grief, you know when you're still processing that when God. Oh man, we're getting too deep into the grief bubble, but
do you ever think about who's gonna get all your, like, literary shit when you die? Sometimes I think about that.
It's gonna be like your friend Amanda, who you It's so funny when, like, I have all of these, like, emails from Google Docs, like, friend who died resolved your comment.
God, that's... Yeah. Anyway,
It's...
Allison gets all my stuff. She doesn't know it yet, but she's gonna get it and she has to finish it. This is how I force her to write stuff again. I never lose.
Oh, well, I hope that this does not happen for a very, very long time. So we still have to get to episode 69.
We do have to get to episode 69.
Back
and then
to
I can die.
Dickolas. No.
Okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't make jokes about that.
Yeah.
Well, but we're going to the island, and someone has to die on the island. Okay.
Oh, yeah, because, last year we lost... No.
Yeah,
Someone left the island early because he just wasn't sleeping well.
Yeah, he was like, goodbye. It was like 2 days in, and it was like, goodbye. And it was like, oh, okay. Bye. See you never. See you next year, perhaps.
Yeah, not everyone can survive on the island.
Those Boy Scouts, they sure didn't. Okay, we have fully lost the plot of this episode.
There wasn't a plot of the episode. We're talking about Bigolas Dickolas.
We knew that we were going to talk about Bigolas Dickolas. Sometimes Bigolas Dickolas is just a main character of the internet and also of your podcast.
Yeah, I also think this is one of the only situations in which the main character of the internet is, like, good.
Can we talk about how nobody's been commenting on the name Bigolas Dickolas?
Oh, I mean, I have.
You have? I feel like you're the only person I've seen who's been like, yeah, that sure is a name. Because I feel like everyone else has just, like, accepted it into their hearts.
No.
Like, I haven't seen anyone being like, hey, is nobody gonna talk about the fact that this guy is named Big Dick, but, like, Bigolas Dickolas, as if you're, like, it's like the Lenjamin of, like, Twitter names? Anyway.
No, I mean... I think that's part of why it went viral, because people think it's really funny that Bigolas Dickolas is, like, propelling this book up the bestsellers list, and then, like, I think part of why it has the momentum is that people want to be a part of it. Like, it's really funny to be like, damn, this weird time travel novella is more successful than this book that just won the Pulitzer. Also, just, like, the book's lower than This Is How You Lose the Time War right now. It's, like, Demon Copperhead, which just won the Pulitzer, Atomic Habits, which is just some self-help book that's been, like, super popular for a while, Lessons in Chemistry, which is, like, a book that my mom's book club read, 48 Laws of Power. I don't know what that is, but I don't know.
It sounds self-helpy and CEO-like.
Yeah, then the next book is I Will Teach You to Be Rich. That doesn't sound like a good... Yeah, and then it's The Body Keeps the Score, and then it's Colleen Hoover.
Man... This sucks. This is weird. This is a weird bookshelf.
I think it's funny also. Like, no one's talking about how funny it is that Zelda is number one.
No, but that's true and accurate. People are really enjoying the shit out of Zelda. By this I mean that Nintendo has weaponized everyone game breaking in Breath of the Wild and was like, you know what we're doing for Tears of the Kingdom? Just building that in. The highlights of what I've seen are, we're just gonna talk about Zelda for a little bit. Highlights I've seen. Somebody makes a Trojan horse, like an actual Trojan horse, and gets Link to go inside and then sends it off. The other thing is making a big man who has a penis rocket. Very good. Like, just building a crucifix and putting, like, a Korok on there.
Oh, no.
Well, it's and then sometimes setting it on fire. Like, people are, it's like, it really reminds me of, like, once when you play The Sims and you start doing sadistic shit just because you can.
I think some people do that, but I never did because I feel bad.
Did you ever delete the swimming pool ladder?
I feel like I feel like that stuff just always made me so nervous, but I know people do that. What I did do was in Roller Coaster Tycoon, I would make people drown. So hey, maybe I am sadistic.
That's the same thing. It's the same energy. I used to play just the most amount of Sims. Like a creepy amount of Sims, like a weird amount of Sims as a teenager. I used to do those, like, those challenges that people used to make up on the internet of, like, here's all these, like, rules that you have for the Sims game, like, with his family. Yeah. And then,
damn, it's like Sims Nuzlocke.
Yeah, no, I used to, like, fucking play as Sims Nuzlocke, and I would also, anyway. Video games.
Damn, I feel like that's just, like, life Nuzlocke, where it's like, you're a single mom, and you work a minimum wage job, but minimum wage isn't enough for you to support a family. Go. That's just life. That's just how people live. Capitalism is a Nuzlocke.
Yeah, but really in Sims, sometimes, like, someone will delete the pool ladder or send an asteroid to your head, and that just happens. Nobody's deleting your real life pool ladder unless things have gone horribly wrong.
But I think metaphorically, sometimes people delete your pool ladder.
Metaphorically, I feel like I'm always getting my pool ladder deleted in life.
Damn, I'm running with this. I think Sims is an allegory for real life. Also,
I don't even think that's like that controversial a take. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to simulate life. What do you think we're doing here?
I remembered yesterday. I was at like a Penn alum thing just because I only go to the creative writing Penn alum things. The other stuff I'm like, I don't care. But there's this professor, Julia Block, who is lovely. And she wrote a book of poetry called Letters to Kelly Clarkson. Mm-hmm. And it's just about, like, Kelly Clarkson.
Nice.
And my friend was telling Julia about the genre of media that I totally forgot about, but I'm very excited to revisit, which is people using The Sims to make music videos.
Oh my God.
So here we are explaining to this, like, probably, like, 50-something-year-old woman, like, so, you know the Behind These Hazel Eyes video? What if it was Sims?
I mean, that's all you need. That's all you need to know.
I love explaining weird internet stuff to people that just, like, are not of that era. And then again, she wrote a whole ass book about Kelly Clarkson. It's a great book.
All right. We fully lost the plot. My second
We're talking about books. We're talking about Sims. We're talking about grief. We're talking about Bigolas Dickolas Wolfwood, the hero of the publishing industry.
On that note, I think what we should take away from this is that we should all hype the shit out of media that we like in any public forum possible, because you never know when someone's going to latch onto you and you're going to have your Bigolas Dickolas moment.
However, you cannot manufacture it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, because I do think word of mouth is important. Anyway, my second recording has
Speaking of how word of mouth is important.
Anyway, and what we should really all be taking away here is that please tell your friends about WoW if true.
Yes. Please get WoW if true. It's Bigolas Dickolas moment. As we make the podcast more and more unlistenable. By last episode, we talked about cum, and this episode, we talked about whether or not our fictional wizards fuck.
I think we should make a tier list of the least listenable WoW if true episodes.
Can
and
someone
I think that
please
would be good
do
content.
that?
Yeah, can someone please make a list, top 5 least listenable WoW if true episodes? Obviously, this is number 1, but
I don't think this is number 1, but I think it's like at least A tier.
It's rough out here. Okay, So my second recording, as I've stated, has stopped working, and I'm nervous about losing the first recording, so I'm gonna fucking end this.
All right. Can I just say one final thing that I saw on the internet this week that's funny?
Sure, go for it.
So a friend of a friend is like a college freshman. It's like a family friend of a friend. He's a college freshman, and he wrote a song about his girlfriend and put it on Spotify. And one of the lyrics on Spotify, because you can like put the lyrics, it's touching on your waist. But waste is spelled WASTE.
I love teenagers.
Yeah. Bad spelling or fecal fetish. On that note,
if you like this episode, tell a friend. Word of mouth is how we grow. Thank you to all of our patrons, and shout out specifically to Zoe, Bray, Andromeda, Thea, Brian, Gabriel, Lotta, Matt, Max, and Aaron's husband. If you want your name in the above or in our Twitter header, slide right into our Patreon at patreon.com/wowtrue. Shout out to audio editors Allison Mills and David Newtown, graphic designer and Canva warlock Eric Silver, who made our logo, Sam Rizer, who made our podcast music, and Tessa Farah, who is transcribing our episodes. You can find us on Twitter as @wowtruepod and Instagram and Facebook as @wowtrue. Had your 15 seconds of internet fame? Are you Bigolas Dickolas? Slide right into our Twitter DMs and tell us about it. Until next time, let's get weird on the internet. Oh God, please save.